Hello and welcome back to the studio. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's video. That one was a fun one to make, even though it did take quite a while. If you haven't seen yesterday's video, I'll leave a link above. And yeah, go check that one out. It's a good one. But anyways, today's drawing was suggested to me by my cat, who left a little leaf on the floor. And I said, you know, that would be a nice little study. Something to combine ink and watercolor. I'm still figuring it out, and basically I'm trying to use the right medium for the task. So yeah, this one was a good one. There's a lot of subtle detail that really lends itself well to blending, and there's fine lines. So it was just a really good subject matter, I thought, for today's drawing. So that's what I went with. The goal, like I said, was to blend ink and watercolor, but also I wanted to emphasize design. It's a very simple piece, but that was intentional. Because there's some really good contrasts between light and dark, and I also use that as a way to contrast the two different mediums. So I use pen where I think it makes sense, and then I use the washes of color where I think that makes sense. And so I have this really nice contrast between light and dark. So the design was really intentional in this one, very deliberate. And speaking of deliberate, also I wanted to work on deliberate pen and brush strokes. So I really wanted to only put pen and a brush to paper when I was certain of the stroke that I was going to make. And I wanted to make that as continuous as possible. I didn't succeed fully, but I really wanted to have very deliberate strokes on this one. So one of the challenges I ran into with this particular piece was figuring out how to use the pen and the brush with relationship to the camera, because normally what I would do is rotate the piece to get the right angle, but I really wanted to have, for you, the viewer, I really wanted to have it remain upright and in the same spot throughout. So I even taped it down to force myself to figure out a way. So there's a little bit of interesting bending going on to get the right spot. But that was an interesting challenge in of itself. It was a really simple design, a really simple painting. There wasn't a lot of strokes involved. There was a lot more thought involved. And I actually finished this drawing twice. I got to the point where I even signed it, and I turned the camera off, and I was looking at it, and I was looking at the leaf, and you know, I said, there's more color. And there's still a bit more color than what I capture, but I was happy with where I stopped it. So anyways, I decided to go further. So yeah, it needed more contrast, it needed more color. I wanted to be a little more bold with my execution. I did tone back the color a little bit just for the sake of the design. But yeah, so that was an interesting process to actually stop the painting, finish the painting, to say, oh, I'm done here. And then to actually turn the camera back on and say, yeah, this is good, but I can make it better. So yeah, that's what I ended up doing, and I'm happy I did that. I got a little more detail, the subtleties of the form of the leaf, and the small little undulations in its surface. So yeah, I was happy I went back and I did that. So that's today's video, but don't click away just yet. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, if you haven't rung the little bell icon, do that, because I've already got tomorrow's painting sketched out. It's going to be a painting. It's going to have ink in it as well. The content is going to be different. I don't do these very often, but when I do, they usually turn out really nicely. So with that little teaser, yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, suggestions, or requests for future videos, leave those in the comment section below. And if you haven't, please share these videos because it would help me out a great deal. With that said, I hope you've had a wonderful day. I certainly have. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.